Would you like to learn how to cook the most juiciest, mouth-watering, delicious lobster tails just like this? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you my amazing lobster tail recipe and give you the secret to perfectly cooked, juicy lobster tails. Girl, if you make your lobster tails like this on Valentine's Day, your bae will never go away. So the first step in making good lobster is in buying good quality lobster tails. And don't fall for the supermarket hype. They like to try and play us and sound fancy by calling these lobster tails wild caught, when in fact all lobsters are wild caught. There are no farm raised lobsters. Boy bye. But what you do want to look for is try to buy cold water lobster tails as opposed to the warm water ones. The cold water lobster tails are more sweet and more tender, but they are slightly pricier and harder to find. You have to go to like high-end grocers and fish markets to find the cold water lobster tails. The ones that they have in most of our supermarkets are actually warm water lobster tails. They don't say it on the package. You would have to ask a fish market worker to find out which kind they are. But just make sure they're frozen. Don't buy lobster tails if they're already thawed out. You want to thaw them out at home once you're ready to cook them, and once they're thawed out, cook them right away. Just be sure to check the color of the flesh. The flesh shouldn't have any dark spots on it. It shouldn't have any yellowing, and when you do thaw it out, it should not be mushy. I'm in Sam's Club right now in Dallas, and they don't have any cold water lobster tails around these parts. So I'm just gonna have to make these do what it do. Here's a few of the things that we're gonna put on our lobster tails. Some of you may know that I love Better Than Bouillon products, and this lobster base right here, girl, it makes the lobster taste so amazing. It just heightens the flavor of the lobster meat and just takes it to the next level. As does my homemade garlic butter. I like to make my own garlic butter because it really enhances the flavor of so many dishes. I made a video on how to make this garlic butter. I'll put a link for it above. But if you don't have garlic butter, all you have to do is soften some salted butter, add in some fresh garlic, some fresh parsley and scallions, and mix it all up. Besides my secret ingredient seasonings, another secret to making a perfectly cooked juicy lobster tail is to weigh it so that you know exactly how many ounces you're working with, so you know how long to cook it and you don't overcook it and make it dry, because dry rubbery lobster is not delightful. So for every ounce of lobster that you have, you want to cook it 1 minute per ounce. My two lobster tails combined were a little bit over 16 ounces, so I cooked them for about 16 minutes. I'll give you the last secret to making a juicy lobster tail a little later in the video. So break out your sharpest kitchen shears and let's crack his back. But first, let's make us a little indentation and get some space so that we can put our shears up under here. So take your thumb like I'm doing and try and push up and make space and separate the meat from the shell, so that we have a place to put our shears in. Just like so. Hopefully you ate your Wheaties this morning, because we're gonna need a little strength. But make sure you do it carefully and gently, because you don't want to jack up the thing. And cut all the way to the tip of the tail, because we don't want to leave any meat behind. As you saw, these babies were very expensive. I don't know why Sam's Club charges so much, but I'm gonna need all my meat up out of this tail for as much as these things cost. I want every drop of meat. Pause. Fun fact about lobsters: did you know that they were cannibals? I didn't know that. They eat each other. Reminds me of a certain ethnic group I know. Ciao. I'm gonna make a delicious reverse seared ribeye steak to go with these lobster tails. Hopefully by the time you see this video, that link will be above for you, so you can have a bomb Valentine's Day. Ew. You're welcome. In the meantime, heat your oven. Put it on broil actually. We're gonna broil these on the bottom, the lowest shelf of your oven, because depending on how your oven is, my broiler is at the top. So I put these on the bottom shelf so that they don't burn. Go ahead and cut off his tootsies, fins, hooves, feet, whatever they call. As always, your shopping list and measurements and stuff will be in the description box below. Now find your thumb again and push it up underneath the back membrane of the lobster tail and loosen the back meat from the membrane like so. And then we're gonna gently lift the meat from out of the shell and place it on top of the shell, just like this. I made some super yummy asparagus wrapped in bacon. Oh my God, they were so good. I'll put the link above. They would go good with this. Yes, sir. Let's do this little technique to make sure that the girls stand up and look pretty. So take the ends of the tails, this one over there and this one over here, and fold it, bend it in towards yourself, and kind of like crack it. Crack, crack. This way, when we plate her, she'll stand up and look cute. Presentation is life. We're gonna also score it real quick so that when it cooks, it doesn't curl up. So you see these membranes or big veins, whatever you call them, just score them right across like this so that when it cooks, like I said, it won't curl up on you. Now take the other tail and repeat. For some reason, Gordon Ramsay and them tell you don't rinse the lobster tails. I didn't pay your mortgage this month, so I can't tell you what to do. But if you knew what I knew and knew that these are scavengers of the sea, and sometimes they have this black vein, doodle line, unless you like eating boo-boo, you need to rinse them, boo. Hopefully you'll try my recipe for the homemade garlic butter. It is so delicious. But I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon zest to my garlic butter. That just elevates the flavor of the whole dish. It gives the lobster that yummy citrus zing in the background. One of the reasons I really love Better Than Bouillon products is because it's like an all-in-one. I mean, their stuff is so flavorful that you really don't need to use a whole bunch of other seasonings when you use their stuff. So go ahead and add a little Better Than Bouillon to the lobster tail and rub it in. I added a little bit too much. All you really need is like 1 teaspoon, and rub it all over the lobster tail like so. Don't be afraid to use your fingers. Just make sure they're clean, pumpkin. This is how you transfer your love into your food. I don't trust cooks that are too scared to touch their food. Like, what's wrong with it? Why are you scared to touch it? If you're too scared to put your hands on it, then I'm damn sure too scared to put my mouth on it. I kid, I joke. You can find Better Than Bouillon products in your supermarket, or if not, you can find them at betterthanbouillon.com, or Amazon has them as well. If you can't find it, a good substitute would be a little bit of Old Bay and a little adobo. Now I'll go in with a little bit of white pepper, and please season the front and the back of your lobster tails. A lot of people only season the top. The back of the lobster tails need seasoning too. Why? Because we eat the back. Yup, sure do. Now put some garlic butter on the lobster and massage that all in nicely. Just don't be a big numbskull like me and do this on a cutting board. You want to do this in your baking dish. Again, don't forget the back. Not unless you have other plans and you'll just be eating the top. Once again, don't be like Lisa. Put the butter on the back of the lobster tail first and then do the top of the lobster tail. Dodo bird. Now go ahead and put it in the broiler, farthest away from the heat, and keep an eye on it because you don't want it to burn. Cook it for as long as you need to, according to its weight. So the last tip to making a perfectly cooked, juicy lobster tail is to take the internal temperature so that you can be sure that it's not overcooked and not undercooked. The internal temperature of a done lobster tail is 140 degrees. Once it's all done, it'll look like this. Yes, God. Look how delicious. Thank you, Father God, for being the amazing God that you are. Now all you have to do is hit it with some fresh lemon and some melted butter. Yes, God. Girl, you would not believe how good these lobster tails were. I'm telling you, that garlic butter and that lobster base, it just elevates the flavor so nicely. And top it off with some fresh parsley. You can thank me later. Girl, I'm telling you, make your Valentine's Day dinner like this. This Valentine's Day meal will have your bae singing, "What a girl, what a girl, what a girl, what a mighty good girl." Yes, she is. Or he. But don't take my word for it. Let's see what the Chief Tasting Officer Mace has to say. Mace, are you ready to work? You want to taste the lobster? You give it your approval? Is it good? You like the lobster? You're so bougie and so spoiled. You eating lobster? You need a second job. Was it good?